All right. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for tonight's webinar. We'll be providing an introduction to the available rebate programs for single family homes in BC. So we're going to hear tonight from speakers from the province of BC, BC Hydro and FortisBC. My name is Jenna. I'm a Built Environment Initiatives Coordinator with the Community Energy Association, and I will be facilitating tonight's webinar. So I'm just going to start off with a quick introduction and then I'll pass things along to our speakers. I'm incredibly honored to live in Cristova, a small community outside of Nelson in BC. So these lands have been the traditional territories of the Snacks Nation, the Silk Okanagan people, and the Tanaha Nation since time immemorial. So I'd like to begin our evening together by expressing my immense gratitude and deep respect for their generations of stewardship of these lands, waters, forests, and mountains. As part of CEA's commitments to truth and reconciliation, I like to begin these webinars highlighting Indigenous leadership in the high performance building space. So Sikadek is a community of the Gitxsan people in the Hazelton area of the Skeena country of northwestern British Columbia. So the community is located on the west side of the Skeena River between Hazelton and Kispiox. It is a small but vibrant and resilient community that seeks healthy, safe, and positive development that is sustainable for future generations. So the Sickaduck Band, also known as the Glen Vowell Band, received $300,000 in funding through the BC Indigenous Clean Energy Initiative to help improve the community's energy efficiency. And this funding is being used to install heat pumps in 70 community homes. And with the completion of this project, all 75 homes in the community will have a heat pump. So these slides will be shared out with all of you on the call. So if you'd like to learn more, there are a couple links just at the bottom of the slide there that you can follow. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'd just like to quickly introduce you to the Community Energy Association, or CEA. So, CEA is a registered charity and nonprofit. We're committed to accelerating bold action by local government and Indigenous communities related to climate and energy. And I'm proud to say that we are the only nonprofit in BC focused exclusively on supporting local government and Indigenous communities on climate and energy activities. What does that have to do with building better? Well, CEA's work recognizes that the built environment is a main source of community based greenhouse gas emissions, and that action in these sectors can not only result in significant greenhouse gas emission reduction, but can also lead to enhanced community resiliency and energy security while increasing the comfort, health, and safety of our homes. So, CEA, we've been involved in building industry capacity and education for almost a decade. The Kootenay Clean Energy Transition, or KSET project, is one of CEA's many projects focused on the high performance building space. So CEA developed KSET to address shifts happening in the energy efficiency, renewable energy, and home comfort space. And through KSET, we want to help Kootenay and boundary communities prepare for a more energy efficient and healthy future through training and capacity building sessions and community workshops that focus on high performance building. So thanks to the generous support of the organizations listed at the bottom of this slide, CEA delivers in-person and virtual learning opportunities in the Kootenay and boundary regions and across the entire province of BC. So to see a full list of these upcoming events and workshops, you can visit communityenergy.ca/events for the full listing. All right, and assuming that most folks on the call here today are considering undergoing home energy retrofits, I'd just like to quickly introduce a few retrofit concierge programs available to support residents through their retrofit journey. So Retrofit Assist is a program facilitated by us here at CEA and is offered in East Kootenay, Roslyn, Kamloops, Whistler, and Squamish. RDKB Home Smart is available to residents in the Kootenay boundary, and not including the city of Roslyn. The Regional Energy Efficiency Program is offered in the Regional District of Central Kootenay. So these programs offer incredible supports for homeowners, including navigating the various rebate programs that we'll be introducing this evening. So if you're considering home energy upgrades for your home, I highly suggest taking advantage of these programs. And I'll include some links to these programs in the chat and the follow-up email. All right, so tonight's agenda is pretty jam-packed. I'm going to quickly conclude my introduction and pass things along so we can get started. So tonight we're going to hear from Suhas Hussain from the province of BC, introducing the CleanBC Energy Savings Program. Louis Dami, Blake Veerman, and Ashley Kelsey from BC Hydro will follow, introducing BC Hydro's Home Renovation Rebate Program, the Electric Vehicle Charger Rebate, and Solar Panels and Battery Storage Rebate. And then to wrap things up, Ambrose Chia will take the stage to introduce FortisBC's Home Renovation Rebate Program and Dual Fuel Heating System Rebate. So presentations tonight will be around 20 to 25 minutes, and we'll be allowing a quick 5 minutes after each presentation for questions from you folks. Throughout the presentations, please put your questions in the chat and I will ask the presenters on your behalf. So we'll do our best to answer all of the questions in the time that we have. And if there are questions that we're unable to get to, I'll keep note of them and I'll include some responses in the follow-up email. In that follow-up email, you'll also find the presentation slides that you're seeing tonight, as well as a link to the recording. And with that, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our first speaker this evening. Suhas Hussain with the province of BC is here to speak to CleanBC's Energy Savings Program. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen here, pass things along.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. There it is. So welcome, everyone. My name is Suhas Hussain. I'm the Program Outreach and Marketing Coordinator with the CleanBC Better Homes and Better Buildings programs. Today, I would be talking mostly about the CleanBC Energy Savings Program, as well as a little bit of an introduction about the Home Renovation Rebate Program before I pass it on to Louis and Ambrose to talk about the HRR program as well. To start off, I would like to acknowledge that the shared unceded traditional territory of the Katsi, Semiamu, Kwantlen, and other Coast Salish peoples on which I work, play, and learn. I thank the Indigenous peoples who continue to live on these lands and care for them, along with the waters and all that is above and below. To give you a quick overview about the CleanBC Energy Savings Program, it provides enhanced rebates. It covers up to 100% of the project costs to help make energy saving upgrades more affordable for the residents of British Columbia. Income qualified applicants who meet a certain criteria will qualify for rebates that cover the cost of a heat pump with a maximum rebate value of up to $16,000. This is in complement to the existing energy efficiency rebate programs offered in British Columbia, and it is a complete replacement of the income qualified program. This program cannot be combined with rebates from the other provincial or rebates from the province or from the utilities. This was developed and funded by the province of British Columbia, the Government of Canada, and BC Hydro. This is administered in partnership with Clear Result Canada. This was launched June 18, 2024, and that is the URL that is for the homepage for the energy savings program. So additionally, the enhancements that they offer include providing rebates for 100% of the cost of a new heat pump. Compared to the previous program, the maximum rebate caps has been increased from $9,500 to $16,000. It varies dependent on the heat pump type, income levels, and all of that. Now there is an expanded eligibility that includes three levels, that is income level 1, income level 2, and income level 3. It provides a top-up of up to $3,000 for people living in northern BC who are switching from natural gas, propane, or oil to heat pump. We also have increased the amounts for the electrical service upgrades from $3,500 to $5,000. Again, this also is varied by the income level. Applicants who are eligible, and meet the income qualification program requirements can access rebates for heat pump water heaters, insulations, windows and doors, electrical service upgrades, ventilation, and safety upgrades. So the program goals, for this particular program, our goals are to improve energy affordability. This is to enable income qualified households who are facing financial hardships to achieve higher efficiencies. And then it is also to increase market awareness. Our goal is to enrich residents' knowledge of energy efficiency and fuel switching. and of course support our goals and our province's goals in reducing GHG emissions to address, climate change. Now the general eligibility. FortisBC or BC Hydro residential customer, that is our participating municipal utilities. That is our primary eligibility. Primary heating system could be either electricity, natural gas, oil, wood, or propane, but these rebates vary. Home must be at least a year old and have a utility account. Participants must meet the program income thresholds. Level 1 and level 2 of the different levels, income levels, must also meet a property value requirement, which is about $1.23 million. This is not required for level 3. So, and there are different types of homes that are eligible. So single family detached dwelling, a mobile home on a permanent foundation, a single family detached dwelling with a secondary suite, and a row townhouse. No other types of townhouses available, but only a row townhouse. And these are the income threshold. I'd like to point out that the income is only based on all adults in the home, whereas the number of people living in the home includes children and adults. And this is the level, and this is available on our website. So I'll direct you to that. And then the registration process itself. The first step in registering is there is a participant portal. The URL can be found on our the program page, but that is it. That is the portal, and there is a requirement to submit the income documents from all adults 18 years and older living in the home. If the requirements are met, there is a report that is provided to the participant. It's called an opportunities report, and there is an eligibility code specific to their application. So this opportunities report is one of the more important things that you'll get. It'll show all the eligible upgrades that your home is eligible for. And the eligibility code itself is used to identify which level of eligibility you are in. And it is used by the contractor so that they know how to quote the contract. And these are the different rebate amounts. For central ducted and 3-headed multi-split. For oil heated homes, it's up to $16,000. All of these numbers vary based on your income levels. If you're level 1, there is a different number. Level 2 is a different number. Level 3 is a different number. But for level 1, it is 16,000 up. So that is how it is. So for natural gas and propane heated homes, it's again $16,000. For wood heated homes, it's up to $5,000. For 2-head multi-split or 2-head mini split, it is about $14,000 for oil heated home. Same for natural gas and propane heated homes, and then $5,000 for wood heated homes. For single head mini split heat pumps, it's about $10,000 for oil heated homes, $7,500 for natural gas or propane heated homes, and then $5,000 of wood. And air to water heat pumps for space heating purposes only is about $16,000 for oil heated home for level 1, and up to $16,000 again for natural gas, and up to $5,000 for wood heated homes. Dual fuel ducted heat pump, this is for PNG customers only, and this is up to $15,000 for natural gas and propane heated homes. And then there is the combined space and water heat pump. So for this, it's up to $19,500 for oil heated homes. Natural gas and propane, again, $19,500. Wood heated homes, about $5,000. The northern top-up is available only for oil heated homes and natural gas heated homes. To be eligible for northern top-up, homes must be located north of and including the district of 100 Mile House, and must be connected to a BC hydroelectric service. And that gives up to $3,000 for oil heated homes, as well as $3,000 for natural gas or propane heated homes. Then there is the electrical service upgrade. This is about $5,000 for oil heated home, and then the same for natural gas, and it's not available for wood heated homes. And for insulation, it's about $5,500 for across all different types of heats or heating, so oil heated, natural gas, or wood heated homes. And for windows and doors, it's about 9,500 for all different categories. For ventilation, it's the same, my apologies, $1,600 for all three. And for health and safety, it is $800 for all three. For health and safety, to qualify for health and safety, let's say while performing one of your other upgrades, you find something that is that could be potentially toxic in nature. This rebate is only applied then. And then for ventilation, these are things like your heat recovery ventilation or your bathroom fans. And then how would you find a contractor? It is required that a program registered contractor is used. And if you live in a region where you cannot find a contractor, or there is a contractor that you would like to work with, but they're not a registered contractor, please reach out to us before you get any work done, and we can potentially work with the contractor, either through ask them to reach out to the HPCN or to us, and we can work with them. We cannot provide rebates after, and that would be an issue. So please make sure you reach out to us. But generally, there should be quite a few registered contractors available, as it says about 950 registered contractors for various, including all different categories. But for program registered itself, you could go to the second link, and it'll only show you contractors that are eligible for the energy savings program. So the upgrade type is locked. So upgrade type would show both the HRR program and the energy savings program. When you click on the second link, it'll only show the energy savings program, and that upgrade is locked. Sorry, that rebate program is locked. And yeah, and you should, if and like I said, if there's an issue, please reach out to us prior to getting any work done. And the HRR program, I'm going to just give you a quick introduction. This program support homeowners who are trying to improve energy efficiency through select upgrades. Applications are accepted after work has been completed. So this is the primary difference. ESP is a pre-qualification program. You need to apply first, get the approval, and that is when the work is completed. In this case, you would still you can get the work done, but it still requires the use of an approved contractor. So you can find that on the list that I showed earlier, the first link. You should be able to find a contractor there. And once you have your work done, you can get this application submitted through the portal that is managed by BC Hydro. This is a partnership between us, BC Hydro, and FortisBC. The utilities do fund a lot more of it. We only fund the fuel switching portion. So the goal again is to accelerate retrofits that help households reduce greenhouse gas emissions and energy use. So this includes like high efficiency heating equipment and then building envelope improvements. Rebates are as follows. For mini split or multi split, it's about $3,000. Central ducted, again $3,000. Air to water, $1,500. Combined space and hot water, $2,500. Electrical service upgrade, $500. Heat pump water heater, $1,000. Installations about $5,500. Windows and doors, $2,000. Two upgrade bonuses, $300, and home energy improvement bonus for multiple. If you have done 3, I believe, upgrades, that is about $2,000 in addition. And if you have any questions, we have our coaching service available. If you look at our contact us page, that information should be available online as well. You could call them or email them. And for the energy savings program, same thing. You could call that number or email that address, and we should be able to get all your questions answered. I believe that's it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Great, thank you. We do have a few questions that came through the chat. Just to start off, just back to what makes a qualified contractor, so or a program registered contractor. So you mentioned the HPCN. I'm not sure that everyone on the call here is familiar with the HPCN, and if you could clarify kind of what makes a program registered contractor, and is there a difference between the ESP, the Energy Savings Program contractor, and then versus the renovation rebate program contractor?
Of course. And so the HPCN, it's the Home Performance Contractor Network, which is managed by the HPSC, which is the Home Performance Stakeholder Council. So we require that the contractors are approved through them, because that ensures that there are additional checks done, qualifications are checked, licenses are checked, insurance is checked, ensure that, like, residents are getting good quality installs and there is no issues. And if there are any issues, there is someone that will take care of those issues. They're not left hanging, right? So that is why we require the use of a contractor that, and if homeowners know a contractor who they trust, but they are not on the list, always reach out to us and we can get them added. There is additional training provided. And in terms of energy savings program, there is an additional level of training provided. So the contractors can be registered for both programs, or they can only be registered. It's up to them. So, but there are some, like, you can in the search tool, you can choose which program and it shows up. And some of them, it shows up on the right hand side what programs are eligible as well. So there is very minor difference, but you still have to ensure that they're qualified for the energy savings program as well.
Great, thank you. And I have used that search tool. It's very easy to use search tool. So we will share that link with you folks.
Of course.
Okay, another few questions. So just someone was wondering what the rationale is for not covering folks who live in manufactured home parks that don't have a permanent foundation.
Let me go back to that, because I believe it is on permanent foundation. The homes are, am I misunderstanding the question?
Sorry,
Well,
for manufactured homes that are in parks, but that they are not. So the manufactured home exists in a park, it's not going anywhere, but it's not on a permanent foundation, so it's not eligible.
I'll take that question. I'll get that back to you. Like I'll send you the answer, and if you're able to reach out to the person who has asked the question, I'll get that answer.
Great, absolutely, thank you. And then someone's just looking for clarification around the option for wood heated homes. If electricity is the main heat source and wood heat is the auxiliary heat source, versus if wood heat is the primary source of heat. So is there a difference in the rebates available for wood as auxiliary heat versus primary heat?
I think the threshold is what heats 50% more than, at least if what is this heat source heating more than 50% of your home. It is decided based on that. I believe that is how it is decided. Yeah.
Okay, great. Go ahead and pop a follow-up question in the chat there if there's something more specific you'd like us to look at. And then there's a couple questions here about, well, it's pretty vague, but so there's a couple questions about with electric furnaces as the main heating source or electric baseboards as main heating source, if those are eligible for any rebates. I'm assuming for heat pump installs.
I can comment on that, Sani,
Sure.
if you don't mind. So when you have an electrically heated customer, if you're for lower income tiers or tier 1 and tier 2, you can apply through CleanBC energy savings program to install an all-electric heat pump. So if you're electrically heated, that means you have electric baseboards or you have an electric furnace. you can, if you're in the lower income tiers, you can apply under ESP with richer incentives that can help with affordability. If you make more than that, than those tiers, then you would apply under BC Hydro's efficiency program as an electrically heated customer if you're in BC Hydro's electric service territory. But if you're on their Fortis electric service territory, then you would apply to FortisBC as an electrically heated customer. But you know, it would be low incentive because the CleanBC income qualifier, like the ESP, is richer incentives meant to address affordability.
Okay, great. And then are there any rebates for folks who are whose main heat source is a heat pump, but it's not an efficient heat pump they're looking to upgrade?
I can answer on behalf of BC Hydro. Unfortunately, we currently do not offer that. The challenge that we have is when, I'm speaking again only on behalf of BC Hydro, is that once you have a heat pump, even if it's lower efficiency, the way that we can justify the funding is to try to get a payback on the energy. So basically, it's like, think of it as we are acquiring energy. So if the customer is saving energy, and we can say, instead of having to buy that energy from elsewhere to be able to provide, you know, peak demand, as long as that we can justify that, we can provide a rebate. But because it's a lower savings on that, it's we currently do not offer that. But that could be something in the future we may reassess. But currently we do not offer that.
Okay, great, thank you. And we have a couple more minutes here left. So just a question around if homeowners are able to do the upgrades themselves, would they be eligible?
No. All upgrades have to be done through a registered ESP contractor or a registered HR contractor to ensure that there is, like I said, like those quality issues and ensuring the work is done correct.
Great, thanks. And then one last question here before we pass things along. If someone wants to work with a contractor who's not currently registered in the Home Performance Contractor Network, so they're not currently a program registered contractor, how long would it take? Do you know about the length of time it takes for someone to become registered through the program, a contractor?
This should not be a big stretched out process. It's usually, you know, pretty fast. We want more contractors to join us, so we will work with HPCN to ensure that it is done as, you know, fast as possible. I understand that there might be some delays, but it's the turnaround should, like, I cannot give you an exact specified time. Oh, this is because it also depends on training, right? There is training provided. It depends on, there is requirements around it. So as long as the contractor is able to commit to those, then they can choose to get it done sooner, or if they need more time. It's, again, there's requirements around it.
Great, thank you. And sorry, Travis, I almost missed your question. I'm going to slide this one in because I think it's an important one too. I'm just looking at the income thresholds for ESP for the energy savings program, where it broke down the 3 levels. There's some text there about a 1.23 million home value figure.
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
So it has been split into 3 income levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. Each it is like they've looked into different research and decided on that number as a program team. So level 1 and level 2 would need to meet the income requirement to achieve that level of rebate. They want a higher value rebate, like the maximum rebate possible. They need to fall into level 1, and their property value must be under 1.23 million as per BC assessment. So we understand that some homes might not meet that requirement. So that is where the level 3 comes into picture. As long as you still meet that income requirement, you don't need to meet the property value requirement. So there is that.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks very much. All right, we did it. We squeezed that in on time. We're right on track. Thanks so much. I know that was a lot of information to get in a short period of time. And thanks, folks, for your questions. Keep them coming. We'll do our best to address things. I'm going to pass things along to the great folks at BC Hydro.
Thank you. So I just want to start by acknowledge that I'm presenting from Vancouver, which is located on the unceded traditional territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and lay or two nations. My name is Luis Damey. I'm the product manager looking after I'm responsible for the home rental rebate program with BC Hydro. I've been with Hydro for about 16 years. Most of my time with efficiency programs. Just to start, we focus on for our program eligibility. The home must be primarily heated by electricity. As I said before, it can be complicated to navigate sometimes. Where am I eligible? So in a nutshell, you have if you're a gas customer, you may go to Fortis or CleanBC. If you're an electrically heated customer, you would go to BC Hydro to apply for measures that can reduce your electricity consumption as an electrically heated account. But if you're a lower income customer that fit into the tier 1 and tier 2, we would direct you to the CleanBC offer that provides slightly richer incentives for lower income tiers. You will need a BC Hydro account, and your home must be an eligible property type. So the four offers that we currently have, we have rebates for windows and doors, for insulation, heat pumps, and heat pump water heaters. I'll go into more detail about them, but as I said before, the way that we can justify the rebates as BC Hydro is to make sure that the rebates make a reduction on the consumption that we can justify a rebate. For general eligibility, as with CleanBC, all the upgrades must be installed by the licensed contractor with a GST number and a valid BC business license for the specific trade that they're working with. Self-installations are not eligible. And one of the things that we want to make sure is it's part of the integrity of the program. We want to make sure that if a customer is installing a heat pump, insulation, that there's no issues with condensation. There's things are properly installed. There's no safety hazard that can happen. So some of the training that these contractors have to do, for instance, for the home performance contractor network, is about best practices. So the contractors get training about installation best practices. So to try to ensure that they have all that knowledge on making sure that they install a product that is supposed to be installed. And also there's training about properly scoping the product. Like if a contractor is putting a heat pump, we want to make sure that the contractor puts a heat pump that is going to be able to get the savings, right? That the customer is going to be happy and not get into a situation where you can see a case where a customer put a heat pump thinking, oh, I want to save I'm going to be using 1/3 of my energy. And then they end up with a heat pump that is undersized. They end up, using their supplemental heating as the main source. And, they may not be happy with the solution that they end up with. The equipment must be new, and the rebates cannot exceed the total cost of the invoice for the upgrade. Going to the different options, for heat pumps, we have a rebate of $1,000 if you install a mini or a multi-split system, and $2,000 for a central heat pump. The heat pump must become the primary heating system for the home. That means that it needs to serve a main living area, and it needs to provide heating for 50% or more of the conditioned space. The eligible products, it's a qualifying product list, but that matches what CleanBC requests. It's for we have some specific efficiency requirements for HSPF and SEER, these are just ratios that provide performance indicators on how the heat pump can heat and can cool. And we require available speed compressor for the heat pumps to be installed. And the last item that I have there is about the heat pump best practice installation guide for existing homes that has to be used when your contractor is installing, and that's part of the training that the contractors that are eligible will go through. And just to put that into perspective, because sometimes we get questions about, is there enough contractors available? As of last week, the Home Performance Contractor Network has 999 eligible members. There's 735 HVAC eligible contractors, 163 insulation contractors, and 101 windows and door contractors currently in the province. and they're working hard on trying to have enough eligible contractors in more remote regions. And in some cases, we get questions about, hey, I'm not able to access a contractor to become eligible. So we'll work with you. Again, if you have a contractor that is not eligible, reach out and we can see how we can help that contractor become eligible, and you can be eligible for incentives. I'll go a little quicker because I'm running out of time. So with windows and door rebates, we have a rebate of $100 per window or door with a maximum rebate of up to $2,000 per home. $2,000 per home. In terms of insulation rebates, we provide a rebate based on how much added R value you add to your home. So we have a maximum rebate available depending on the type of upgrade, and some minimum R value requirements on the new insulation that it gets installed, and basically the incentive is associated with what was existing versus what's been added. We also provide a rebate for electric heat pump water heaters. It's $1,000, and they have to be listed as a tier 2 or higher on the NEA's, the advanced water heater specification for qualified product list for heat pump water heaters. And one thing to mention, emergency replacement of a broken electric heat pump water heater or existing electric heat pump water heater is not eligible. Lastly, we have bonus options. If a customer installs 2 eligible home upgrades, they're eligible to receive a $300 bonus. If they complete 3 or more, they conduct home energy energy guide report, they can get $20 per percentage gigajoule improvement in the home's energy guide report. So they will be receiving a minimum of $750 up to a maximum rebate of $2,000 based on the improvement that the home received. And that's all I have. I don't know if there's any questions. Sorry, I went quite fast. I wanted to be on time.
I think we'll just have all the remaining 2 presentations from BC Hydro, and then we can ask all the questions together. All right, so Blake, over to you.
Perfect, thank you. So thanks for having me here. I'm Blake Furman. I manage a portfolio of programs for BC Hydro to support our customers that are choosing to drive electric vehicles. I'm going to give a higher level overview of our programs as they relate to single family homes today, as well as where they fit in some of the other programs available. I'm presenting from the same place as Luis in Vancouver on the unceded traditional territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So where does BC Hydro's role with EVs fit? Of course, it's quite wide, from operating, maintaining, reinforcing, and upgrading our grid, our public charging network that you're likely familiar with if you already drive an EV, making sure that we have knowledge available for people who are considering a switch to EVs, as well as what I'm going to be talking about today, supporting customers who choose an EV through programs. So those programs to support our customers include through partnership with CleanBC, and if you're in the FortisBC territory, this is administered through theirs, a home and workplace charger program. BC Hydro also provides top-ups, which I'll get into, for connected chargers and power management devices, just so that you're aware of them in case you have other roles in your life. There's also programs to support fleets who are transitioning to be electric. There's rates to support fleets, and there's also the time of day rate, which is quite often beneficial to anyone who charges their EV at home. So focusing in on the single family home offer, the core of the offer comes from the CleanBC Home and Workplace Charger Program, which is funded by the province and run through partners, as I mentioned. BC Hydro is one, FortisBC is also one, and then there's also Plug-in BC. And the whole point of this program is to make sure that EV adoption is kind of easier for residents and workplaces. There's three main components to that program: single-family homes, multi-unit residential buildings, and workplaces. And given the topic of this webinar, we're focusing on the single-family home offer. So what does that offer look like? So from the CleanBC side, it's rebate of 50% of your costs to a maximum of $350. And if you're in the BC Hydro territory, that rebate could be higher through either municipal top-ups or BC Hydro incentives. And some of the Fortis territory area has may have top-ups as well. So if you're thinking, my home is going to be a more difficult install, maybe I want a nicer charger, so it's going to cost me more than $700. There's ways that you can increase your rebate value. So the first is a peak saver eligible EV charger top up. So right now, unfortunately, that list has shrunk down to just one model, but we'll hopefully have more coming soon. So these are chargers that can kind of work with our system and receive a signal from us, just like you might already have a thermostat that you've enrolled in our peak saver program. These are chargers that can enroll in our peak saver program. We offer a top up, increasing that limit from $350 by another $250 to $600. Separately or in conjunction, you might also use a power management device, which I'll tell you a bit more about on the next slide. That can unlock another $200. That doesn't have the 50% cap. It's just the total rebate can't be more than what you spent. And in certain municipalities, there's also a top up. So I've linked with that QR code. We have one of our websites summarizes these different top up offers, and that's what that QR code goes to. You can see a little screenshot of those offers for single family homes below the QR code. That's the web page you'd land on, and you can pick the top up that you're interested in, either by your community or by the smart charger or power management device offer. So how do you actually get any of these rebates? Sounds great. You can get up to hundreds of dollars. How do I get them? This is the process for single family homes, and I want to be clear about that because for multi-unit residential and for workplaces, there's a pre-approval requirement. For single family homes, it's quite a bit easier. You're going to confirm the rebate details just in case you're doing this at another time and anything has changed. Purchase and install your qualifying charger and power management device if it's right for your installation. A note about that installation. This goes somewhat without saying, but it needs to meet electrical code requirements, and that includes likely having an electrical permit. Basically, if you don't already have a 240 volt outlet in the correct location to add a charger, then you'll be required to submit an electrical permit during your application process. I ask for the sake of our operations team that when you do that, you do submit a picture of your permit. I think everybody on the team loves dogs, but if you do submit a picture of your puppy, it will slow down your rebate application process because the team will have to reach out to you and ask for a picture of the invoice again. That is a bit of a joke, but it also happens quite often. So please do make sure the picture you upload is of the permit. You're going to gather the required documents that are listed on the web page, including that invoice, and apply within 90 days of purchasing and installing your charger. After you've applied, we'll reach out for clarification if needed. Otherwise, you'll receive your rebate within 90 days. Okay, sorry, there was a bit of a delay there going to the next slide. So I'm not going to share this video, or I wasn't going to, but it's auto playing. I'm not going to share the video for sake of time here, but it's also linked with that QR code, so you can watch Dave teach you about power management devices. Instead, what I'll say is these devices can be really helpful, and they can save you a lot of money. So they're a device that is helping you in the case that your electrical panel, maybe it doesn't have capacity. Maybe you want to do a heat pump and you want to do an EV charger. You don't have capacity for both, or you just want to do EV charger and you don't have capacity for it. A power management device helps you kind of install that, even if you're already hitting the limit, by treating the EV charging as an optional load and pausing charging when either a device it's sharing a circuit with is on or your overall home load is too high. So that video has some great graphics to help explain that. Definitely recommend it. And you can follow the QR code for the link to that video, or just search YouTube for EV power management devices. My PowerPoint really isn't liking to switch to the next slide here. There we go, right on. So just note, EV charging, of course, you're shifting your whole gas bill onto your electric bill. So you can expect your electric bill to go up, but not by nearly as much as your gas bill goes down. And there's ways that you can mitigate this. And I just want to kind of highlight that, beyond the environmental reasons to switch to an EV, there can be really big cost savings, especially if you're in a single family home and you're able to plug in. Time of day rate can help you with that if you're plugging in at night too. So think of that like kind of always getting the best prices at the gas pump. If you just schedule your car to charge overnight, you're signed up for the time of day rate, you're saving 5 cents a kilowatt hour, which is more than 30% if you're on tier 2, which is a pretty great deal, right? You don't even have to, go to the gas station in the middle of the night or detour out of your way to a gas station far off your route. You just plug in overnight with the time of day rate. So I am out of time, so I'll just quickly mention these programs. We're always improving them, so it's a good idea to check up on the website in case we've improved them since I've given this presentation. I know a recording is being made, and there's 2 QR codes that'll give you a chance to scan to learn more. The one on the left takes you to our program website where you can find out information about the details of the rebates. And the one on the right will open up an email box for you to email our team. You can answer some of your questions if they're not answered on the website. While you're doing that, I want to clear up one kind of confusion I've heard recently. EV incentives. So not, I talked about the charger incentives, but the incentives for actually buying an EV do still exist in BC. The federal program's paused, but in BC, there are still incentives if that's something you're considering. You can find a bit of information about that following the QR code on the left. And to recap what I've told you about, there are programs available to help you cover some of the costs of installing EV chargers in your home. In single family homes, that includes $350 up to for any qualifying level 2 charger. There's an additional $250 if that charger is compatible with BC Hydro's Peak Saver program as an enrolled device, and another $200 if you're using a power management device, which can be a great way to add an EV charger if your panel is already nearing capacity. And with that, I am done.
Great. Thanks so much, Blake. Again, a lot of information to get through quickly, so I appreciate it. And we'll just pass things over to you, Ashley, just to introduce us to the solar panel and battery storage rebate.
Okay, let's get started here. Hey everyone, so I just want to say thank you for your time today as well. My name is Ashley. I'm a project manager supporting the solar battery rebate program here at BC Hydro. So I've put together a quick agenda of what I'll be covering in this presentation today, and I'll jump into it now. I might talk a little fast so I can get through everything today. So I apologize in advance. So first up, we launched the new solar and battery rebate offer back in July 2024. So not too long ago. It's a pretty new offer, I'd say. Mainly launched for the residential customers, but we also opened up the offer to many other sectors, such as the business sector, the multifamily building sector, and a few others. So today I'll be focusing more on the residential side here. So for residential customers, you can receive up to $5,000 for installing an eligible grid-connected solar panel system. The rebate is calculated at about $1,000 per kilowatt of installed generator capacity, and this covers up to 50% of your total installed costs, and that includes both labor and materials. Additionally, you can get there is another opportunity to get another $5,000 for battery storage systems. This rebate is calculated based on $500 per kilowatt hour of installed storage capacity, and also same rule apply, covers 50% of the total installed costs. So if you're installing both a solar and battery energy storage in your home, you can get up to about $10,000 in rebates, which is pretty nice nowadays. However, there are a few additional requirements which can be found on our website, which you'll see on the bottom there. It says the bchydro.com/solar rebates. A lot of information to be found there. And then we also have our terms and conditions. I always recommend kind of reading through there. I know it's sometimes a tough read, but there's a lot of good information in there. Of these requirements, a few of the important ones that stand out the most is that you must have an active BC Hydro account on an eligible residential rate, and then a smart meter as well, because that's kind of how we tell the users going back and forth. You can check your rate on your residential BC Hydro bill. Underneath where it says like electricity charges, I think it's on the second page, you'll see the rate there, and then you can just compare it to the eligible rates on our terms, and that's the best way to find out. And then this offer is open to many different home types, such as your classic single family home, but we're also open to duplexes, triplexes, townhomes, and mobile homes. However, if you live in an apartment building, like a multi-story condo or anything like that, you wouldn't qualify for this rebate. But there is another rebate called the multi-family building offer. I definitely would recommend checking that one out to see if your building qualifies. The requirements are a little bit different than this one, so I'd also recommend checking that out too. But yeah, most importantly, to qualify for this rebate, you must participate in the self-generation, which is more famously known as the net metering program. If you see those words floating around, they're the same thing, basically. We're just going now with self-generation. This is typically automatically done as soon as you apply for self-generation and the rebate application. They're all kind of the same thing. And then once the application is approved by the self-generation team and the rebate team, your rebate will be paid out to the property owner. So that's a little bit about our rebates here. Go on to the next one. Okay, so what are the benefits of installing solar and battery storage? Well, there are 4 that typically come to mind. So first, and probably the main benefit, is that you're now generating your own clean and renewable energy, which is a big one for many environmentalists. And it comes with a lot of benefits, like you're now in control of your own power, which is nice to have that self-sufficiency. This means you're no longer reliant on the BC, well, not as reliant on the BC Hydro grid, and can be more energy independent, which is super nice when it comes to power outages. Whether they're planned outages or storm outages, with the help of a battery energy storage system, you can still power your home, especially those critical loads during these outages. And then lastly, and I'd say probably the most favorite amongst many customers, is the bill reduction. Now that you're generating your own energy, you'll use that energy before using and paying for any electricity from BC Hydro. And then any excess energy you generate will be sent back to the grid, which you will also receive a credit for throughout the year. And any credits remaining at the end of the year, or the annual payout date, will be paid back to you. And I'll discuss that system a little bit more in detail in a few more slides. Okay, so I have a few images of how solar and battery storage works, but just like Blake, I have a video of Dave, and that'll play here, just a minute of it quickly, mainly because Dave sounds a lot cooler than I do, explaining how this system works. So I'll quickly pull up that video here and hope it works.
Solar panels allow you to generate your own renewable energy. When combined with battery storage, you can further lower energy costs and increase self-sufficiency. Without a battery, the energy generated by your solar panels is used as needed during the day. Some of your unused energy can be sent back to our grid, earning you a credit on your BC Hydro bill through our self-generation program. When your system isn't generating enough to meet your energy needs, we supply you with electricity from our grid. With battery storage, your solar panels will generate power while the sun's out, and the extra energy you don't need is stored in your battery. When your battery's full, your excess energy will be sent back to our grid for a credit. The stored energy is then available for you to use at night, in the event of a power outage, or anytime you need it. If your battery runs out, you can rely on electricity supplied by our grid. Pairing a battery with your solar panels that's correctly sized for your energy needs helps you optimize the benefits of your system and gives you more flexibility. Combined, a solar and battery storage system helps you use more of your self-generated electricity and less from our grid. This
So let's kind of all play out of that video, just due to time constraints. So we're almost done here, but I'll dive into the size and cost of these panels. So good news is that the cost of solar and battery systems have been dropping pretty quickly over the past few years, probably due to big technology advancements. So nowadays when it comes down to like the cost of things, it mainly comes down to the size of the system and the contractor you're using. So I've put together some averages here to give you a rough idea what to expect when you're getting started. So an average, and this is also including both the materials and labor costs, a solar system is about 2 to 3K per kilowatt. So if you're installing a 10 kilowatt system, it could range between 20 to 30K. And then kind of depending on that cost, your return of investment or your payback period usually can range between 15 to 20 years. And then when it comes to batteries, there are a few different factors to consider, such as the type of battery, which there are a few different options. For example, you have the lithium-ion battery, which is very common for residential and commercial sectors. And then there's also the lead-acid battery, which is a good option for off-grid installations. And then to ballpark that price, if you're looking to install, for example, a lithium-ion solar battery system, you're expecting about $18,000 to $25,000. But I would say it's very important to note that we recommend shopping around and getting multiple quotes from different contractors to kind of better understand the options that are available to you. And then to make sure your system is also sized correctly. So to make sure it's tailored to your home based on your own electricity usage. If you're curious about your annual consumption, you can get this data from the Data Export Center on your online My Hydro account. It's you'll see the little manage account at the top there. It's all there for you. And then there's also quite a few free public online solar calculators that you can use just to kind of run some options there to find out what system best suits your home, but of course run this by your contractor too. Next up, we have the application process. So I'll quickly run through this. So first step, we always say find a licensed contractor. Unlike the home renovation rebate program, we don't have like a network set up quite yet for this one. So when we're looking at contractors, they just need to have their GST number and a valid BC license. Although we do recommend going with a licensed electrician just because of their background. Sadly, self-installations aren't eligible, just like many of the other rebate programs. Once you have your contractor in place, I'd recommend that you start submitting your application. You do this online. All the applications are online. You just apply now at our bcihydro.com website. It's usually best if your contractor enters the first bit of your application because that's all the technical information and they'll have to upload some technical docs. But as a customer, you must authorize and submit it yourself. Once the application is submitted, our self-generation team will review all the technical and configuration setups to make sure it's eligible and safe. So that's our self-generation team that does that, which is completely separate from our solar rebate team. I'll get into that after. But please, please, please do not purchase or install any of your systems until it's pre-approved from us. So once you submit your application, we will give you pre-approval, say it's good to go. At that point, then you can purchase and install just to make sure you're not spending a lot of money or spending that amount of money and not being eligible. That might kind of impact your decision to move forward. So we recommend just waiting for that pre-approval. Once you get it, like I said, you can install your system. And then once it's installed, it's up to your contractor to get it inspected. So once it's inspected, he'll upload the electrical contractor authorization form, and all the inspection documents have that up there along with your final paid invoice. And then once we get the documents, we'll approve it for interconnection, and then you can flip the switch and turn your solar system on. And then you'll get your rebate usually within 30 to 45 days. I think we're on the last slide here. So the self-generation program, this is what you'll see on your bills after you are now generating your own electricity. It's basically just a meter that goes both ways. Once you generate electricity, all electricity you use will go to your needs first, but then the ones that are sent back to the grid, you'll receive those generation credits for, and they'll come on the bill kind of in that top corner there, and you can see how much you're outflowing and inflowing. And then all the generations are paid out usually on March 1st or your annual payout date. And then I just put some links here, so feel free to check out our websites. We have the bchydro.com/solar rebates and the bchydro.com/self-generation. And that's all I have here today. I think we're
Great.
on questions now, are we?
Yeah, well, we're a little bit over time, but we do have a couple questions in the chat that I think we can answer quickly, and we will be sharing these slides out, folks, so you can check out those all of the videos that we don't have time to share today too, that were in Ashley's slides there. There was just a question in the chat versus whether or not the rebates that Louis you spoke to were stackable with the CleanBC Energy Savings Program. And I know it was answered in the chat that no, it's not. And then so there was a follow-up question about just why would someone, in what situation would someone access the BC Hydro rebate when there's a considerably higher rebate available in the energy savings program? So just for clarification for folks on the call, the energy savings program, you have to qualify. You have to, your annual income has to fall within those eligible income brackets, whereas the BC Hydro program does not have any income qualifying requirements. If there's anything else, Louis, that you'd like to add to that, if we still have him with us. I know you have to hop off at 7.
He jumped off, yeah.
Okay. I'll follow up with Louis, but I believe that would be the case there. And then there's a question, Sarah, I believe that you put this question in when Blake was speaking to the EV charge year rebate, and she just so I'm assuming it's about this program, but if not, please correct me. She just asked if there's any minimum kind of cash amount or payment that the homeowner has to spend in order to qualify for the rebate.
Hey, yeah. So on the EV side, the rebate is maximum at 50% of the costs. So, and then the CleanBC one is capping out at $350. The smart charger top up is $250. So let's say, the homeowner was able, already had a plug available in their garage or near enough to where they parked that they didn't need to do electrical work. And then they bought a charger for $500, then the rebate would cap out at $250. So the homeowner is contributing at least half. With the smart charger top up, that's $200 flat, but it does cap out at 100%. So let's say you put in, sorry, not the smart charger, the power management device. Let's say you put in a charger with a power management device and the electrician gave you a really great price and it only cost you $650 somehow, then, you'd be hitting that cap. If it cost you any less than that, then you wouldn't be able to get the full $650. And if it cost you more than that, it would be capping out at, $650. So it's really that 50% of costs that you're bearing, or more than that if your charger, perhaps you had a more complicated installation and your charger plus installation cost you $1,500, then you'd be, contributing everything above those dollar value caps.
Great, thank you. And then one last question here for Ashley. Can panels be installed on a freestanding framework instead of on the roof?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, totally. So I guess it kind of depends on what's meant by like a freestanding framework. As long as like the solar system is fixed to the property, like it's not temporary, it's not mobile, it can't be moved or whatnot, and it's connected to the primary BC Hydro account or meter and serves that primary occupied home, then you're good to go. So for example, if it was like a mounted ground installation that cannot be moved or decommissioned like that, and it's connected to your primary home, then that works for us. Same thing if it's like on a detached garage and it's connected to your main home, that's really good.
Great, thank you. All right, and again, thanks so much. I know it was a lot of information for the three of you to share in a brief period of time, so I appreciate it. We're going to pass things over to Ambrose with FortisBC to take us through a couple of their rebate programs.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenna, and thanks to my colleagues at Hydro and CleanBC for their presentations. All right, good evening, everyone, and thanks for sticking around. Today I'll be going over the home renovation rebate program, the appliance maintenance program, and some of the rebates available for our Fortis Electric customers. So there is going to be a bit of, oh, I didn't know I added that, but no regrets. But yeah, okay, so the home renovation rebate program. So it takes a whole home approach to energy efficiency upgrades in existing homes. And we're offering rebates for space heating, water heating, and building envelope rebates. We work with industry to build capacity and create installation best practices. Basically, we work with contractors, manufacturers, and just to make sure, contractors are getting trained up and also best practices are being applied. And this is offered in partnership with BC Hydro and CleanBC. So there's a bit of repetition in terms of what was covered earlier by Louis and Suhas. But in this case, I'll be getting into specifics of Fortis customers. A question that we often get is, where do I apply? There's insulation, there's windows, there's door rebates. Where do I apply? And it really depends on who your what you're primarily heated by. And primary heating is defined by what heats 50% of or more of your home. So if 50% of or more of your home is electric and you live in Vancouver, that's BC Hydro. If it's natural gas, like a furnace, it would be FortisBC if you're in the lower main, if you're in Vancouver. Okay, so you need to have a residential account with FortisBC Natural Gas or FortisBC Electric or one of the 4 municipalities below. So that's City of Penticton, City of Grand Forks, Nelson Hydro, and the District of Summerland. So I know you're not technically FortisBC Electric customers, but you would be eligible through our Fortis Electric rebate portfolio. In terms of general eligibility, once again, this was brought up earlier, so it might be some repetition, but the home does need to be a year-round residence and at least 12 months old. What's not eligible is any sort of new additions, so you need to be upgrading an existing space. Upgrades to garage, workshops, outbuildings, or any existing spaces that are converted into living spaces are not eligible. To put into perspective, if you the point of our program is that we want to have GHG savings. So if you have a space that was previously unheated and you've now turned, like let's say a workshop, and you're turning it into a living space, that's going to equate to additional space that needs to be heated. So that's why it's not eligible. Additional notes is that all applications do need to be submitted within 6 months of the invoice. And all installs need to be completed by a licensed contractor with a GST number and a valid BC license, basically no DIY installs. There are a few programs where you'll need to select a home performance contractor network member, and I'll highlight which programs you would need that. Eligible types of homes, so single family detached, secondary suites, and single family detached. So if you have a home and you have a basement suite and it's a legal basement suite that's separately metered, you'd be able to claim rebates for both. Any duplex, triplex, row homes, or townhomes, as well as mobile homes on permanent foundations. So contractor requirements, earlier I mentioned no DIYs, and contractors need to have a valid BC license number and be certified to do the work. In addition, there are some programs within the home renovation rebate program where you actually need to select a contractor that is registered with the Home Performance Contractor Network. And that would be to access the insulation rebates, the air source heat pump rebates, and the dual fuel rebate. So keep that in mind before you go ahead and decide to do the work. So what is the dual fuel heating system? So a dual fuel heating system, it's most commonly, and in terms of this program, it's a natural gas furnace and an electric air source heat pump that's sequentially operated with an integrated control system. basically you've got your furnace and you've got your heat pump, and the integrated control system is most of the time it's going to be a thermostat that is communicating with both systems, and at a certain set point temperature, which I'll highlight later, the heat pump will switch to your furnace. So we do have program maximums for that, which I'll get to in a bit. But essentially, the idea is that in the wintertime, your heat pump will be heating your home, and at a certain temperature, it can switch over to your furnace. And therefore, you're able to meet both your heating needs, and it also enables cooling capabilities for you in the summertime as well with the heat pump. Oh, and also, if you're a pipe propane customer in Revelstoke, you'd also be eligible for this. So if you had a pipe propane furnace and you're in Revelstoke, you'd also be able to access this program. Eligibility requirements, you need to be a FortisBC residential gas customer, and of course, pipe propane in Revelstoke. You need to be replacing an existing gas furnace that's at least 10 years old, and it needs to be a full replacement of the existing system with a qualifying dual fuel system. If you already have an heat pump that's integrated with your furnace, so basically you already have a dual fuel system and you want to go to a dual fuel system, that wouldn't be eligible through this program. I mentioned earlier about switchover temperatures. So basically that's a temperature where your heat pump would switch off and your furnace would switch on. We do have maximum switchover temperatures through the program. So if you're in Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland, that would be 5 degrees Celsius. So at 5 degrees and these are the maximums. You can have set them lower, but you just can't exceed 5 degrees where it would switch to your furnace. If you're in the southern interior and northern BC, it would be 2 degrees Celsius. Once again, the work needs to be completed by a home performance contractor network member, and full requirements can be found at fortisbc.com/dualfuel. And just a quick overview of all the HVAC systems we offer. So we for the dual fuel program, we offer $10,000, and that's through the Home Renovation Rebate Program. If you meet the income qualified threshold, it's $15,000. We have an Indigenous Communities Conservation Program that also offers $15,000. If you are in our electric service territory, we offer $1,200 for installing a mini split, just a single head, and also for central ducted tier 1 systems. And we offer $2,000 for multi-split, so if you have multiple heat pump heads and also central ducted tier 2. We also offer rebates on connected thermostats and heat pump water heaters. You can check out the link there, fortisbc.com/home rebates to get more information. Next is the insulation rebates. This was covered earlier, but I'll just quickly run through it again. So you can, I hope it's not too hard to see, but I've highlighted the numbers here where we offer rebates on. So the attic, we offer up to $900 for insulating your attic. For your exterior wall cavities, we offer $1,200. And as you can see here, there's actually minimum R values, and they're determined based on typically how expensive the work is to complete to offset the cost. So you'll see the cavities, the minimum R value added is R12, and you can get up to $1,200. Sheathing, so the sheathing, basically that is the insulation that is not within your cavity on the interior wall, but on the exterior. So typically you think of something like mineral wool, and then the siding goes on top of it. That's what we mean by sheathing. The minimum R value threshold is lower because we understand it is a more expensive job. We're also offering rebates on exposed floor or any basement over crawl space. This is an example here. You've got the part of the floor over the basement, and this part here where it's exposed. And of course, we also offer rebates on the basement walls up to $1,000. Next is window and door rebates. So we're offering $100 per window or door up to $2,000. And the U factor requirements for the windows is 1.22 or less. This program does not have an HPCN requirement, so the Home Performance Contract Network. This one does not have the requirement, but it does need to be installed by a licensed contractor, so no self-installations. You need to be replacing an existing window or door, and that includes replacing the frame, so not just the glass change. It has to be the full frame replacement. You can't punch a new hole in the wall and add a new window. That wouldn't be eligible either. No skylights are not eligible as well. And Vancouver residents are not eligible for this program. It's nothing personal. It's around building code. So Vancouver has its own set of building code that has higher thresholds. So the savings aren't there for us to offer to Vancouver residents. U factor, so what it is, sometimes it's called U value. It's the rate of which the window or door conducts non-solar heat flow. So the lower the U factor, the more efficient. It's not just about stopping, heat from escaping your home. It's also from heat from getting in. So if you imagine in the summertime, you've got a lot of sun blaring in. Having a low U factor window could also prevent your air conditioner, for example, from working extra hard. And once again, in the industry, you're going to see it as both imperial and metric forms. Keep in mind that for our program that we use metric, so that's 1.22 or less. I mentioned that because sometimes you'll get imperial U factors and it's going to seem like it meets the program when it doesn't. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to do window or door rebates. Okay, next is the appliance maintenance program. So I'm moving away from the home renovation rebate program that's offered from Fortis, BC Hydro and CleanBC, and this is a Fortis specific program. So we are offering an appliance maintenance program for you to service your gas appliances. The program periods are June 1 to June 30th. It's June 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. So you've still got some time if you want to participate in this program. The application deadline, just apply within 60 days of your service. So we're offering $50 for your furnace or boiler, maximum of just one. For your fireplace, you can get up to two fireplaces serviced for $25 each. So that's $50 total if you had 2 gas fireplaces. And once again, if you have a tankless water heater, we're offering $50 for that, for servicing your tankless water heater. For more details on this program, just check out FortisBC.com/service rebate. And some additional rebates for our Fortis Electric customers, and that includes the municipalities. So District of Summerland, Nelson Hydro. Heat pump service, we offer $50 for like the appliance maintenance program that's for your gas. The $50 would be for your heat pump service. If you're not a Fortis Electric customer, but you're in a qualifying municipality, you would receive a check rather than a bill credit. And it also needs to be submitted within 60 days of your service. We also offer Energy Star appliance rebates on clothes washers and dryers, as well as refrigerators. All right, so where do you apply? So just apply online at rebates.fortisbc.com. You can also apply over the phone at the number provided here. This slide will be shared with everyone today. They also have, if you require any impaired services or any language translation, we have all those available to you. So applying over the phone would be another option as well. And once again, I know there's little origami. Once again, I know it's a lot. We covered a lot of programs today. If you email not just us, but any of the program partners, we can point you into the right direction and help you get what sort of programs that are available to you. For FortisBC's team, it's homereno@fortisbc.com. If it turns out that we have to move you, push you to Hydro or CleanBC, we can direct you there as well. So don't hesitate to reach out at all. And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thanks so much, Ambrose. Again, so many rebates available in a short period of time to share information out about them. So I appreciate that. I just wanted to, folks, if you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. We do have a few more minutes left. I just want to go back to a question that was asked earlier because I think it's relevant to all of the rebates, the province of BC, BC Hydro and FortisBC. Sandy just asked how long the rebate programs are running for. And if you missed it, Ashley did respond that the solar and battery rebate offer currently does not have an end date. So maybe Ambrose, I'll start with you if you're aware of any end date for Fortis's programs.
Sure. So for the appliance maintenance program, of course, we do have the tentative end date of June 2025. It could be extended, but as you know, currently that's what we have. For all the home renovation rebate programs that I mentioned, the insulation, the heat pump, and the dual fuel, those don't currently have an end date. If we did announce an end date, we would typically provide some sort of grace period and lots of time. Like we inform contractors, customers, and we'll give you time. So don't worry too much about that. Just keep checking our web pages. And I think you can subscribe to our newsletter. It's called Energy Moment. And any sort of new rebates that come up or any announcements about programs ending, we'll be able to let you know there as well.
Great. And maybe I'll put the link to that newsletter registration in our follow-up email too. Blake, any idea if there'll be an end date, any end dates in mind for the various programs you spoke to or rebates?
Hi, Jenna. For the EV programs, there's no end date currently there. Again, of course, the most up-to-date information is on the website. People are also absolutely encouraged to reach out to the EV charger incentives at bchydro.com address. And I'll add, sorry, I had prepared my presentation kind of separately from seeing the others. I didn't focus on the details of the eligibility requirements as much as the overall program. So please do take a look at the website. For instance, you know, your home, it can't be a brand new home to be eligible. That is a retrofit program.
Great, thank you. Thanks. And yeah, it is the information you shared was great. And you know, if only we had all the time in the world to go through all the details of these programs.
Right.
Sue asked, how about from you, any idea if the province has an end date in mind for their rebates?
No, there's currently no plans. But any updates would make sure it is on the website. There would be enough of a notice period that people who are still wanting to get the updates done would be able to get it done.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks very much for all of our incredible speakers sharing all of your knowledge and the information about these rebate programs. I know there are an incredible amount of rebates available to enable folks to move forward with their home energy upgrades. And it's a little overwhelming to get started. So I hope that was a great introduction to what's available. We will be sharing out a link to this recording along with the presentation slides, ideally within the next week or so. If you have any questions, or if you asked a question that we didn't get to, feel free to send me an email and I'll do my best to follow up with you and also share that out to everyone else on the call. Yeah, and with that, thanks again to the presenters and thanks to everyone for spending a couple hours of your evening with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Take care, everyone.